All right. Okay. We're back live. I think I do something about this. The shade it keep the shade keep moving up, moving up. I keep being a little bit darker than I was before. I think that worked. Yeah, there we go. The sun on me right there. Okay, so I was just live before after the police came out and did a measuring. Police came out, they did their little measuring, then they got back in their car. Again, that's just something that they're going to try to use to continue to falsely arrest me and have my bail raised up. Again, because we are not dealing with, and this is where we get back to this argument where people keep talking about, I know cops, they're good, they're not all bad cops, most of them are good cops. These police officers that are over here that somebody would say is a good cop or a good uncle, good dad, good father, good brother, they're trying to find a way to have me arrested for talking on live, for exercising my freedom of speech. But again, the reason for that is because what I'm using my freedom of speech to speak about. The reason of if we were out here protesting against COVID restrictions or COVID guidelines, if we was out here protesting for the police and saying back the blue, you wouldn't see any of these antics that they go to. But because what we are protesting and what we are advocating for and against goes directly against them as entities, is specifically about what they represent. You see the things that we are dealing with as forms of repression and in the forms of microaggressions and the forms of trying to just arrest people in the hopes that the arrest will get people to no longer have the courage of their convictions. Which is really a sick prospect. It's a sick thing that we're dealing with. But it is a sick institution. Policing is a sick institution. The criminal justice system is a sick institution. The city of Rockford government is a sick institution. And if we do not do the work of diagnosing these institutions and diagnosing these sicknesses and then properly treating the body against those sicknesses when the symptoms occur, we will never be able to eradicate this disease out of the body of Rockford. And so that is what we are doing. We have done the job of diagnosing, and we are doing the job now of treating. And we're still doing the job of diagnosing as well. But that is what this is. This is a treatment for a racist city, a treatment for a racist society. And again, the reason we have to have this type of dedication and determination is because we need, as things continue and as time continues, we need to continue to develop the consciousness of younger generations to not lay down when police officers violate your rights. To not lay down when institutions violate your rights. Do not lay down when the state violates your rights. We have to struggle against them. Each person who complies when their rights are violated makes it even more difficult for the next person to struggle when their rights are violated. And so that is what we have been doing the work of. That is the work that we have been doing since October 3rd, 2020, when the occupation began. That's the work that was being done during all the City Market Friday protests that took place last year. That's the work that was being done at the Food Truck Tuesdays protests that have taken place last year and this year. That's the work that's being done. That was done at the Winnebago County Courthouse protest. That's the work that was done during the Die-In protest, and it's the work that was done during the Fuck the Blue protest. And it's the work that was done on May 30th when these things began. The work of continued struggle. And so I am very well aware that I'm in the process of being trying to be made an example out of. I'm very well aware that I'm in the process of the same way that I have become in some instances symbolic for members of the community and symbolic for people who have dealt with the ills of police terrorism, mass incarceration, and racial injustice. I'm also aware that I have become symbolic for the power structure of policing, symbolic for the criminal justice system, and symbolic for the city of Rockford government and the Winnebago County government. And the people that are in the institution of policing don't want anything to change. The people that are part of the city of Rockford government, judges and lawyers and These people don't want anything to change. They got their plush paycheck and their plush house and their nice car off of things being how they are. They got their career advancement and their political advancement off of things being how they are, and their economic advancement off of things being how they are. And so these people have a true dedication to upholding the status quo. And if we do not challenge against that, we will continue. We will be in the same space, in the same place 10 years from now, and it'll be my son and your son or your daughter, your granddaughter that are in these struggles. And best believe that if we do not see this thing through in this movement that we are in now, in this time that we are in now, it will be even further that the next set of people have to go to see it through. They will have to make up for our failures. Instead of being able to pick up where we left off at. And so it becomes our job to make sure that they can pick up where we leave off at, and basically in a relay form where we run the baton right up to them and put it in their hand, as opposed to us dropping the baton while we're running and them having to run back to get the baton and then start the race again, if that metaphor makes any sense. Fuck the police! Fuck the police! Fuck the police! Sorry about that, my fault. And so again, we're still, and I want to let's speak about this too. We are sitting here right now. April 10th is when Faustin Guaitigo was murdered. April 11th is when Jose Gonzalez Jr. was shot while he was running away. Raymond Jackson died in a high-speed pursuit on April 25th. Those are three incidents of police terrorism, three macro-aggressions of police terrorism that all took place in April of this year. And we are still waiting for the investigation into those things to be completed. Well, the Winnebago Boone Integrity Task Force investigation has been completed. It's been told that it's been completed in both Jose Gonzalez Jr.'s case and in Faustin Guaitigo's case. However, there has been no release of what those findings were. However, there's also been no information at all to come out about the Winnebago Boone Integrity Task Force investigation into the shooting or to the high-speed pursuit that led to the death of Raymond Jackson. And so, man, my fault. But so it's not as if, I want people to remember this, it's not as if there has not been any fuck the police! It's not as if it hasn't been any incidents that have taken place of police terrorism since these protests began. It's not as if protesters are the only people who have had these things happen to them. There have been multiple people who have dealt with the exact same thing that George Floyd dealt with. And just because it does not look the same as George Floyd, we cannot make the mistake of not being as empathetic towards it as we were, or as certain people were, towards the murder of George Floyd. And so there needs to be the same type of outpour from the community for Jose Gonzalez Jr. as it was for George Floyd. It needs to be the same type of outpour for the community, from the community for Faustin Guaitigo as it was for George Floyd. There has to be the same type of outpouring and outcry from the community for Raymond Jackson as it was for George Floyd, or we will continue to have Raymond Jacksons, Faustin Guaitigos, and Jose Gonzalez Jr.'s. And so we sit here waiting for the investigation to be, for the findings of the investigation to be released, for Raymond Jackson's investigation to be completed, and to see, and we are in a place again where there has never been a time in which an officer has shot someone in the streets of Rockford, Illinois, or tased someone in the streets of Rockford, Illinois, or in Winnebago County, and they have not been found to be justified once the investigation was completed. And so we sit waiting for these findings with an understanding that it's not about will they be justified or unjustified, but it's about what type of reaction will the community have, and will organizations and activists have, and people have after the findings come out and they are justified, because there is no historical precedent that says that they won't be justified. And again, we have to all find where we are comfortable existing in this struggle. I done lost a little bit of shade. We all have to find out where we are comfortable existing in this struggle, and we all have to find which role we are comfortable playing. And sometimes finding the role you're comfortable playing starts out with being uncomfortable playing that role. I was very uncomfortable with the role that I was in as far as this struggle is concerned. This time last year, it was very difficult for me to try to figure out where to try to figure out a way to fit in this new ideology that I had, to try to find a way to fit in this new belief system that I had, and to try to still maintain some type of semblance of who I was before, a semblance of who I have been in my core. And so one of the things that happened is, as I struggled with the uncomfortability of being in this role or position, I began to become more and more comfortable with the role, become more and more comfortable with the position. And I think that was one of the things that got me in a place where I was better. I became better equipped for the role once I began to find my comfortability in the uncomfortability. And even in I don't enjoy being arrested. I hate being arrested. It's a horrible feeling. I hate having court and thinking that I may be remanded into custody and wondering if I'll be revoked, my custody or my bond will be revoked and I'll be stuck in jail. And I think that maybe if I was, again, I don't want to disparage anybody. But I think if I was engaging in a different set of activities, if I was selling drugs, or I was we were doing robberies and Grand Theft Auto or something like that, maybe it'd be a little bit easier to accept the time, the idea of you do the crime, you do the time type of thing. But I think one of the most difficult things about this is knowing that these are false arrests, that this is not justice that's happening, that this is not you're doing, if you do the crime, do the time. This is people who are working for institutions that are directly responsible for corruption, exploitation, and oppression, using those institutions to criminalize people, using those institutions to stigmatize and dehumanize people, using those institutions to strip people's freedom away and to strip people's liberty away. And so that it is difficult. It is difficult to be arrested for walking on a crosswalk when you know you have the right to. It is difficult to be arrested for sitting in a chair when you know you have the right to. It is difficult for being arrested for holding a sign or holding a megaphone or for writing in chalk on the street. Those things are very difficult it's a difficult pill to swallow when you know that it is unjust. So fuck the police! Fuck the police! You racist piece of shit! Again, piece of shit, political term. And again, we're dealing with these police officers, for people who have I'm switching subjects a little here, but for the people, again, and I've said it so many times, for the people who have issues with subjects with language such as fuck the police, or have issues with profanity and things of those nature, I would encourage you to go back and watch the actions of the police department from May 30th on, and those May 30th of 2020 on. You can find all those videos on our Facebook page. You can find all those videos on our YouTube page, Instagram page, on our Twitter page. We have a thread going on. Again, we have these history of the Winnebago Boone Integrity Task Force pamphlets. And we have all these things in an effort to inform people as to why fuck the police is something that's being said. To inform people as to why all cops are bastards is something that's being said. And again, if the information we're giving you is not enough, I encourage people to go out and to read the book The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, to read the book Locking Up Our Own by James Foreman Jr., to read the book The End of Policing by Alex Vitale, to read the book, we got this one that we're currently in the process of doing a Rockford reading of, In Defense of Looting by Vicky Osterwile, where there is a chapter in here entitled All Cops Are Bastards. And I encourage you to do those things because that is the way to become informed as to this ideology that exists, and so that you know that this is not a Leslie thing or a May 30th Alliance thing or anything of that nature. This is a policing issue that resonates with all communities of color throughout this country. That resonates with all poor communities throughout this country, and it becomes our job to make sure we are communicating these issues properly, giving a platform to these issues. And we have to understand that the price of freedom is death. The price of liberty is death. That has always been the price. It has never moved. It has never changed. The only thing that has been different is that it have been people who have become unwilling to pay that price. As life has become more convenient, as life has become less barbaric and more humane in certain aspects, we have seen how institutions and systems have become less humane and more barbaric. And we have seen as those multiple things happen, you've seen people lose the will to fight, lose the will to struggle for freedom, lose the will to struggle for liberty. Damn, I feel like I'm too dark. I feel like it's too dark. It's not no. I ain't in no light. I ain't in no light. The sun's starting to go down. And so it is our job. I just want to look to see how crazy do I look on this. How much light am I really missing? They over there playing fucking Nivea. What's wrong with they ass, man? Playing Nivea. This racist ass city, man. Okay, my fault, y'all. I just want to check. Let me check something. I want to see how crazy this light look. What the lighting look like. Hold on 1 second. Oh, one of the cops left. Maybe they went to go do some real work. All right. Let me see. How crazy do I look? What's up? What it look like? I guess it don't look that crazy. It don't look that bad. I am out of the shade though. Okay, I'm watching myself lean back. I'm a little bit more in the sun. Oh, but Terry said this fucked the chairs up leaning back like this. All right. All right, I'm gonna end this live. I gotta get something to drink. We outside. Fuck the police. Fuck City Market. Fuck 815 Day.